Hi everyone and welcome to Saints Soaps. Today I'm going to be showing you my spring inspired confetti soap. To start out with, I have my melted oils and my cooled down lye water ready to go. These are all at room temperature and my oils are a combination of hard oils and soft oils. Hard oils and soft oils refers to the state that the oil sits in when left at room temperature. For example, olive oil would be a soft oil because it's liquid, and coconut oil, whilst soft, it is considered a hard oil because it's in a solid form. So I'm just carefully going to mix these two together. Adding the lye water to the oils starts the chemical reaction process called saponification, which will eventually turn the oils into soap, into their solid state. You can see here that as I keep mixing that the soap will turn to a creamier color and slightly more stiff. This is a trace, this is what we call a trace, when the liquid has started to thicken. You can have thin trace or a thick trace or anything in between. A thin trace will mean that it is a lot more liquidy, and sometimes the different forms of trace means that it'll be easier to make patterns in your soap. I'm adding a new mica that I've gotten. If you'd like to check out all the new micas that I got, I actually have a video I did previously, which is a big mica unboxing. So I was really excited to get to use this one. It is a really great color that almost looks like a metallic kind of green seaweed color. Of course, I knew that it would lighten slightly in the final product, but that was fine because even though it was a deep color, I didn't want it to be too deep because it was supposed to be about spring, and I wanted it to look like the deep greens on the trees and the bushes. You'll notice that I just quickly mixed the powder in with the blender bottom before starting to actually blitz it together, and that's to make sure that when I turn on the blender that I'm not accidentally going to spray powder everywhere and that it's actually going to go into the soap mixture. So I'm just making sure that I'm just barely mixing it in, that it's all distributed evenly, because I need it to be really liquidy because I'm going to add the shaved soap or the curls, which will be the confetti inside the soap. Because of that reason, I've also decided to make the body of the soap this greeny blue color. The batter is going to be, it's a less amount than I normally do because I know that I'm going to be making up the body of it again by mixing in the soap curls that you'll see soon. I decided that the soap could be a little bit more vibrant in its color, so I just added a little bit more of that mica color in there, but I decided that it's pretty good where it's at now. I'm just making sure, I don't know if any other soap maker does it, this is how I do it. I just like kind of shake and tap against the sides of the inside of the bucket, the bottom of the blender, to get off as much of the soap as I can to make sure I don't waste it too much. I have a really hard time kind of like getting my spatula in there to scrape out the blades. I've just added in champagne fragrance oil. Now this stuff is really nice. This smells really fresh. It smells really bright and fresh, but has it's like a very slight sweet note to it. It's not too sickly. It's not like a lolly or a candy sweet, not at all. But I thought it was really nice because it kind of reminded me of the morning after there's been rain all night. It's not a rain or petrichor smell at all, but just that freshness of the day. And so you'll notice that I've started taking a lot of my photos and my videos of my finished products outside. That's actually in front of my garden that I'm doing it in. I really love the colors of the garden. I've obviously got the brown of the bark and the dirt there in the garden bed, and then also I've got some frosted leaves from lavender bushes and also evergreens in there as well. So I know I called this a spring soap and some people might go, oh, this is a bit different of a spring soap, but that's what I wanted. There's nothing wrong with those other bright colors for spring soaps, but I just wanted something a bit different, and I really like how it turned out with the pops of the confetti inside this green color as well. I mixed the fragrance oil in there in 2 different stages just to make sure that I could mix it all through properly. When adding fragrance oil, sometimes it can accelerate the liquidy state of the soap batter, but with this fragrance oil I have no issue with that at all. It stays nice and liquidy. Now you can see the giant bucket of confetti that I have. This is a mixture of dark purple, light purple, and there is also some hot pink in there, which you'll see soon. These confetti pieces that I have grated up, they can come from leftover pieces of soap that I've cut off the ends of my soap loaves and they're too small to sell, or sometimes even you get a failed batch of soap now and then, it doesn't work out, but the soap is still fine to use, it just doesn't look the way it should, and sometimes I'm not happy to sell it in its current state, so I reuse it and I turn it into something which is sellable in my eyes. So here I use the scale to make sure I weighed up the right amount of confetti to put into the actual liquid soap batter, and I'm just carefully using my spatula to mix it through and making sure I'm scraping down the sides at all times to make sure that I'm not breaking the little curls up too much, because I need them to try and keep their state so they're not just little broken bits. They're actually really cute little curls, and I love the effect that comes through when you slice into it. I've decided there that I would chuck in a little bit more because I just really wanted to fill the whole body up. I didn't just want the curls to sit at the bottom of the soap and then to have just green solid color at the top. So I realized that I could add a little bit more in, and you can see it's starting to, it's not actually thick, but it's having a bit of trouble moving because there's a lot of content in there with the extra bits. So it definitely looks like an interesting color there, and interesting stuff going on. But yeah, it turned out it's still nice and liquidy, and I'm able to pour it straight in. You'll notice my buckets. I've had a few people ask about where I get my buckets from. My buckets are actually from a bakery. My sister works in a bakery and she was able to grab me some of their empty buckets. They were just going to throw them out and they were kind enough to give them to me. So they come in different sizes, and that's a great size there. I think that used to be a raspberry filling icing container. So it's a great size for my smaller batches, or when I make a giant loaf, I use a bigger one. Here I'm able to, in the liquid, thank goodness it's still in a really liquidy state, I'm able to pour in the soap batter real easily. And here, one of my favorite techniques to do to make sure that I get it all nice and ready is to like tap the spatula, bounce it up and down across the top, and that makes sure that it goes to all the corners and it fills in nicely. It's really important with a soap that has lots of embeds or like the confetti pieces in it that it is as liquidy as you can get it, because you need to tap it down to make sure that all of the air bubbles are out, and there's a lot of places that air can get trapped inside. So I'm going to leave those soaps to sit for about 3 to 4 days, and when I brought them back out, this is what the top looked like. I call them frosted tops. Sometimes the tops will take on an ash. It's called soda ash, and there is absolutely nothing wrong with it. It's just a visual look of it. I kind of really dig it. Some people really like it too. It's like I said, I call it frosted tops, and this we can start to see what the inside of the soap turned out looking like. And I'm really happy with how it looks. I love the fact that there are all these bright colors mixed from the bottom all the way to the top. And I really love the contrast of the green with the purples and the pinks. There I'm just double checking and making sure that I set my slices to the right width so that all the slices are uniform and the same. I love being able to share my soap making process here with you guys on YouTube. Unfortunately, I don't always get videos out as quickly as I would like. To make sure that you don't miss a video, make sure you like this video and subscribe to my channel to be kept up to date for when a new video does come out. In between videos, you can also check me out on my other social medias, which can be found down below in the info box and also at the end of the video. These slices will sit for about 6 weeks to cure to make sure that they're ready to be sold and to be used. And and before I make sure that I sit them on the shelf and leave them for 6 weeks, I actually have decided to, well, I've been doing it for a little while now, but I still kind of feel like it's a little bit new, is to trim all of the edges. There's nothing wrong with the edges. Again, it's just a visual thing, and sometimes I would say it's a little bit of a practical thing as well. When you hold a bar of soap, sometimes the little edges can be a little bit sharp, and so by trimming them off, I smooth down the edges. All of those little scraps that you see going into the container there, they are not going to be wasted. I save them up and then I make more confetti soap with it. Or sometimes I'll even squish them all and roll them into tiny little soap balls, and I will make a soap which has got lots of little balls inside. They sometimes turn out looking like little planets or marbles even, or bubblegum. Could be like balls of bubblegum that they look like. And here's the final product. I really loved how these turned out, and I am totally glad that I have lots of extra confetti to keep making more soaps, because I think we're going to see more of these around, guys. Thanks for watching, and I hope to see you guys next time.